The Texas Capitol closed briefly Wednesday over fears from pro-Trump demonstrators who had also gathered there, but only peaceful protests there in Austin. The 87th Texas legislative session will begin on time this week, despite political tension and a continuing pandemic. Still questions about how much you and I will be able to be a part of this and interact with our representatives. KAMC West Rappaport tells us about a cautious reopening in Austin.
Sound of silence no more, with the public now allowed back into the Texas Capitol. Lawmakers are moving offices, tourists are snapping shots of the rotunda, and visitors like Chase Stafford are admiring the stories these halls have to offer.
It allows me to be able to explore some of America's history.
The Capitol typically hosts hundreds of thousands of guests each session, some just visiting, others involved in the political process. The Texas State Preservation Board tallied more than 630,000 visitors in 2019 and more than 660,000 the session before that. The level of public involvement in legislating this year is still unclear, but we do know this year's guests will see some changes. The State Preservation Board is capping capacity, requiring masks, and installing hand sanitizer stations everywhere. Some rooms, like the cafeteria, are closed for now, but the gift shop is open with protective barriers. A 15-minute rapid test here on the North Plaza is encouraged but not required. The public access to the Capitol is here on the north side. It's up to each lawmaker to decide procedures for their individual offices, but some are only allowing visitors by appointment only.
They have to consider all aspects of keeping up with the government, making sure the country is running while still slowly reopening things so that the public can start to get back to normal while still trying to contain the spread of the virus.
In Austin, Wes Rappaport, KAMC News.
All right, and always good to talk to Lubbock Representative John Frullo. Is busy getting ready for the start of things now. John, how comfortable are you with the COVID safety precautions that they're talking about there at the Capitol, and how confident are you that you can get done what you need to get done with this pandemic continuing like this?
Well, I think in order to answer that, we'd have to know what the final safety precautions are. In the last 2 days, we've received two different emails about information that's going on. So it's like anything. We really don't know what is happening, what's going to happen. I think a lot of it's predicated on the rollout of the vaccines, the timing of the vaccines, the first shot, the second shot in most cases. So there's just a lot, as we've all found out during this whole COVID mess, and I think that's probably the easiest way to call it something, is we're finding out things as we go along. So we'll just have to see.
But with limited public involvement, we've talked about this a little bit on the show. How do you balance safety with transparency that people need to see what you're doing down there?
Well, I think a lot of it is, and that's exactly it, is how do we make that work out? Part of it is with audio and more, not so much audio, but video anymore, just like what we were doing here. The House proceeds have always been televised. You can go back and look at recordings of them. Same with committee meetings. That's happening. So it'll be, different as we start doing it. We'll see how it works out. One thing I expect, I don't know if less bills will be filed ultimately, but I just can't imagine as many bills will get heard as there have been in the past.
You mentioned the possibility of fewer bills being heard this time around. Do you still have certain goals or projects that you think that are must-haves for folks in Lubbock that need to be in this next budget that you're going to push for?
Well, I think that, there's always that, and we all have personal things that we're interested in. I think that, if you look at the big items, and we only have to, and this as well as anybody, the only thing we really have to pass is a budget. That's the only bill that's required to be passed by us. So, I think there's a real good chance that will happen. We also have redistricting. We need numbers from the federal government. Is typical with the federal government, they miss their deadline. So the first one they've already missed is December 31st. They're supposed to have information out to us. Now they're saying December 9th. I'm guessing we'll be lucky to get it by the middle of the month. The redistricting's big. If you look at the state, 75% of the population is there between as you go from Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, Houston, and back up, that area there contains 75% of the state. Another roughly 16 is over here in West Texas, and the rest is in East Texas, about half of what we have. And so as our population does not keep up with the growth in those metropolitan areas, we lose representation. There's been a number of bills that have been filed, some of them as simple as, and I think as important as listing churches as essential businesses. Then we have other things where people are wanting to, maybe after certain events occur, that there is a special session called in order to bring the lawmakers back, the senators, the representatives, to deal with issues. So, it's kind of like last session, we dealt with Hurricane Harvey and, what implications it had and what it did as far as the budget and different things we had to do. It's not the first hurricane that the state has ever had, but there were a lot of things that were the first time. Of course, this is not the first pandemic we've had, but the last one was, a century ago. So we're having to deal with that, come up with different things. One, I think, good thing we've seen is that a number of laws have been relaxed, and we're realizing we don't need some of them. Some of them are, maybe on the books and not really needed. So I think there's going to be a lot of that works out and ends up making it to where we can, maybe make it easier for people to operate. I think we need to make sure that businesses can operate. We've seen what that's done, and I think as time goes on, it's going to continue happening until we get this vaccine in place.
Very good. A lot to do, a lot to talk about. John Furlow will be down there doing it starting next week in Austin. Best of luck to you, my friend, and stay away from that nasty virus, huh?
I'm going to try, Brian.